Well guys, I'm sure you've heard the news that Roadkill has been canceled. I thought about this for a while, this is the day before Thanksgiving, so whenever the announcement officially came out that it was canceled, I thought about it since then and thought, do I make a video about this or does that seem like I'm pandering to people? And so I thought about it, and then Dad called and said, I think we need to talk about this in some way. And so once he said that, it got me thinking about what we should talk about. Because I don't have insider information. I've never met David Freiburger. I've never met Mike Finnegan. I would love to meet both of them. I'd love to have the opportunity to work with them one day on a project or a race or something. I think that would be super, super cool. So I have absolutely the highest respect for both of those guys and for Roadkill itself. And then it hit me. If it wasn't for Roadkill, there would never be a Shift Points YouTube channel. It would have never happened, flat out. We have to go back a little bit to when I grew up. And the way I grew up was watching stuff on TV like Boyd Coddington, like Chip Foose, or Orange County Choppers. American Chopper, I think is what the official title was. These are the three shows that I really remember growing up on as a kid. And in those shows, Dad would always say how interesting like Foose's stuff was, like Coddington's stuff was, but it was kind of so next level and so kind of what he saw as out of the realm of what we could ever do here in this shop, which today, honestly, I don't believe that. But at the time, this is how he felt, that was kind of out of the realm of what we would do here in this shop. And then you go to the other side of that coin, American Chopper. These guys are yelling and screaming and throwing wrenches and doing all this stuff with each other. And that absolutely wasn't going to happen. Even when I was at my most annoying in high school and me and him were back and forth at each other like a dad and his son does, we were never Orange County Choppers level of yelling at each other. So this are the shows that I grew up on. So I say all of that to say that I was super late to Roadkill. I was super late to it because when I heard car TV shows, those are all that came to my mind. That's what I grew up on. And so I didn't watch Roadkill for the longest time. And when I say for the longest time, it was like 2020 before I watched my first episode of Roadkill. I'd heard about it. I had friends that told me about it. Again, my mind automatically locked in on Foose, Coddington, or Orange County Choppers, and I assumed it wasn't something I was really interested in. Then 2020 happens, COVID hits, and Dad calls and says, you gotta watch this Roadkill show. Again, I've already heard about Roadkill, I know about it, it's just another car show, whatever. And he says, no, really, you gotta check this out. Like, this is not what you think it is. I know what you think it is, and it's not that. So I start watching Roadkill, and I become obsessed with Roadkill Garage. I watched everything that I could get my hands on with these guys in it because I was so interested in what they were doing, because it wasn't Orange County Choppers and it wasn't Coddington and Foose. These are guys that are working on stuff. Honestly, they're working on cars that we wouldn't have even started to work on. So I got obsessed with Roadkill in 2020. Now, at the same time, I've had this thought kind of in the back of my head for a few years of, man, we could do a YouTube channel. I mean, you guys know how YouTube has blew up. I mean, at that time, you had guys like Cletus McFarlane. You had guys like the Finnegan guys that were making kind of what I would call like OG Finnegan stuff. I watched all of that stuff, and then I got obsessed with Roadkill. So I had this idea of, man, we are doing stuff. Or Dad is at that time it was just Dad really, because I wasn't living here in Western North Carolina. I was living in Charlotte. I had graduated from mechanical engineering school, and I was working down there, full-time job down there, which I still have here. But I was working full-time down there, and there was 3 hours away. There was no way I was going to be able to come in here into the shop enough to make enough videos to be able to put together a YouTube channel. But I'd had this idea of, man, if I can get home and I can get into the shop and we can film the stuff that we're doing, it is as interesting and as good as some of that stuff that's being put out. The cars and the trucks that we were working on were interesting enough, and they were kind of what I would consider the everyday man's hot rod. And that is very much what the channel has become. We work on stuff, trucks and cars that we believe are savable, that are not usually very rusty. We try to avoid that as much as possible and prevent it as much as possible. But at the end of the day, there's good, solid cars and trucks and things that I would consider that again, kind of your everyday guy would do. And maybe some of the stuff that we do is maybe a step further than that. And hopefully that'll continue to happen. Hopefully we'll be able to continue with like Dad's 55 build. We'll be able to kind of do stuff that's not your everyday man's thing. But at the end of the day, it's very, very accessible for anybody. I'd had this idea for the YouTube channel, just sitting back here, just picking in the back of my brain for a long time. Then again, Roadkill happens, 2020 happens, COVID happens, Roadkill happens. I get upset, get super obsessed with this idea, and then had the opportunity to move back home and live within just about 15 minutes of Dad. And so then, okay, all the pieces have lined up. I have this idea of like what Roadkill does and the style of stuff that they do. I know what we do, and I know that we can do our own take on this, working on it here in the shop. But again, even after that, I moved back here in November of 2020. It takes 2 more years, and actually a little bit more, about 2 years and 2 months, before it actually ever happens, because at the end of the day, I have no idea how to make a YouTube channel. I don't know anything about it. I don't know how to film. I don't know what kind of camera I need. I don't know how to edit a video. I don't even know how you upload a YouTube video. I have no idea how to do it. So I kind of, again, in bits and pieces at times, kind of start thinking about this, what can I do? And then we go to PRI in 2022. And this is what sealed the deal. When I went to PRI and I saw what was going on there and the people that were there and the cars and the trucks and what was going on there, I knew that we had to be involved in that, because there's absolutely no reason why we should not, with the level of work that we do and what we work on, there's no reason that we shouldn't be there every year, basically. I'm not saying we should be in a booth, but I'm saying we should be there and we should be getting ideas and thinking of stuff, because I knew that we had the ability to do that. With my annoying traits where I would annoy Dad to where we would do this and make the channel happen, and with his knowledge and with my little bit of knowledge and trying to grow it as much as I can, we could do this. So when we got back home in December of 2022, I basically immediately ordered a GoPro and a handle for that GoPro, and I come to Dad's and I said, oh, hey, by the way, we're gonna start a YouTube channel. And he's basically like, what? What are you talking about? Quick funny story about Dad and YouTube. He says, well, is there like a contract we have to sign? Like what if we stop uploading videos? And I was like, Dad, that's not how YouTube works. I don't know much, but I know that's not how YouTube works. And so I like to give him a hard time about that, but he was very concerned about it. He was, honestly, he was concerned about like haters on the internet more than I was. Because honestly, that stuff like that just kind of off my back. I don't even worry about it. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing anything, someone's going to have something bad to say. It's just, that's life. So at the end of the day, that wasn't worried me. He was concerned about that. He was worried about what we were going to do. And then if you guys remember, on January 1st of 2023, I made a video, and that's this video right here. Hey everyone, welcome to Shift Points. Shift Points is the video home for Freeman Hot Rod Repair. Freeman Hot Rod Repair is a shop located in Marshall, North Carolina, and it's made up of my dad, Mike Freeman, who's probably somewhere over there off camera working, and myself, Jake Freeman. Now that video is a very, very nervous Jake in front of the camera kind of for the first time, just trying to figure out what to do. Right after I got done with that, I went and made our first video where I basically did a build breakdown, a very rushed, concerned, almost out of breath me doing a build breakdown of some of the stuff that we had done to the truck. I wouldn't even let Dad be in the shop when I did it. I locked all the doors and kept him out because I had to figure out how the heck to talk to the camera and talk about what we were working on, because that's how worried I was and concerned and how much I wanted this to be a success. Now, none of that would have been possible if there hadn't been a Roadkill. If there hadn't been a David Freiburger and there hadn't been a Mike Finnegan, I'm going to go out on a limb, and without those guys, there's a pretty good chance there's not some of the guys that I've become friends with through this, like the Daily Misfire or Brick Rod Garage. These are two guys that I've gotten pretty close with and talked to pretty often through YouTube and through cars. And I'm pretty certain without that, there would have never been any of those. So basically, at the end of the day, if there wasn't Roadkill, I genuinely believe there would not have been as big of an automotive industry as there is today. Would it have existed? Of course. Would there have been other shows? Of course. I'm not diluted. I know that that's how it is. I don't think the everyday man, common guys, if you will, would have started making videos on YouTube. And I'm sure there's plenty of other videos or other channels that are like that as well. So I realized, and the reason that I made this video is because I realized I had never told the story or maybe even showed my concerns with starting a YouTube channel. And I wanted to tell Freiburger and Finnegan, thank you. They'll probably never watch this video, and that's completely okay. I don't expect them to. But I hope that everybody that tunes into the channel will see this and realize why we did it. Hopefully you'll be closer to us and you'll understand, and you'll have some ideas maybe for things that we can work on or things that you guys would like to see, because this will become the trailer for the channel now. This will stay there and basically welcome any new people that show up on the YouTube channel. This video will be there to tell them the history of shift points and the reason that it exists, and will basically, at least for as far as I can think, they'll always be able to come back here and see us say thanks to Freiburger and Finnegan, and thank you to Roadkill for what you guys did, because without you guys, we wouldn't be here. Now you have to think, in less than 2 years now, the channel has went over 2.3 million views. That's on shorts and everything. 2.3 million views. And for me, it's just crazy to think that two guys, regular old hillbillies from North Carolina, are just making and doing what they do and videoing what they do. Because Freiburger said in his video where he talks about Roadkill being canceled that at Roadkill, when it first started and basically through the end of it, was just two guys doing what they wanted to do and being filmed doing it. And that's exactly what we do here at Shift Points. That's all we ever want it to be. We hope that it grows. We hope more people watch, and we hope we need more people's help to get it videoed and edited and things like that. That is genuinely where I hope to see this channel. I know we only have like 3,300 subscribers right now or whatever, but I really want this to continue to grow and go up here to the point that we can do this for a living, because this is genuinely what I love to do, is make these videos and work here in the shop. I should put it in the other order. I should really enjoy working here in the shop and videoing it and putting it together and putting it out there for people to watch. I love it. I really do. That's a lot of growth in 2 years, and we just need to keep that going. So if this is your first time here on the channel, we appreciate you being here. If you've been here 1,000 times before, we still really appreciate you being here. I want to wrap that by saying there's things coming. We've got some big plans for the channel as far as the stuff that we're going to work on. I'm going to continue to work every day like I've been working every day for almost 2 years now, trying to come up with ideas and come up with things that you guys will be interested in. But it's mine and Dad's channel. We're going to continue to work together. We're going to continue to try and do the things that we're super interested in. And I really think that you guys will also be interested. So we appreciate everybody that's been here and everybody that's new here. Thank you so much for being here. And absolutely, thank you, Mike Finnegan. Thank you, David Freiburger. Because of Roadkill, there's a channel called Shift Points. It's two guys in Western North Carolina doing what they love and working together.